What up, everybody? What's up? Jill says she never got used to an extravagant lifestyle and was happy. I saved a lot. Now I have a plenty, but enjoy a pretty simple life. Pretty simpleton, you mean? A pretty simpleton life. What did I do with my freaking thing I want to talk about? I left it upstairs. Jill's enjoying a pretty simpleton life. Hee 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 hee. There's Denise. Oh, Jill's gonna be like, I'm unsubscribing. You offended me. There's Denise. Almost missed live engrossed in the investment course material. Why do you say laugh out loud? That's not very nice, Denise. That's implying that it's not very exciting. Okay. That's not cool. We got Guyana Spice. Guyana Spice? Send all illegals to Puerto Rico and U.S. territories by ship after ship. They live off the land, build their own shelters, grow business, defend USA in public ocean, Pacific Ocean. Then this person says, why have others had their pensions stolen in the past? Please don't say it's not true. Good luck. I don't understand what you're saying. Bruce Smith, crushing. Why do households draw down their wealth so slowly? I like the idea of all illegals going to Ukraine to fight Russia. No, I don't. Fear of eating cat food. All right, there you go, Andrew. Brad says, for some of us, it's because we saved for 40 years. It's tough to give up that mindset. Plus, we already have bought most things we need. Ooh, that's good. That's good. Yes, sir. All right. I may buy a new vehicle this year, the first in over 20 years. I think if you don't have a grasp on your finances, it's easy to play to be too safe. 100%. Look at Vaughn. Vaughn's crushing. John Porter. John Porter's drunk on the porter. Eat, Santa, eat. Who knows where that comes from? Eat, Santa, eat. Let's see. I'd probably buy a Toyota, dude. Still can't go wrong with a Toyota, especially the Toyota CEO crushes. Love that guy. The sale of electric vehicles were up 1.5% in the Q4. Yeah, they've reached their jump the shark thing. That's just a fact. So look for the electric vehicle market to be slowly and then slowly at first and fast, and it's done. It's done. You can wrap that sucker up and send it packing because all this money we spend waste. No one's buying it. When you say no one, there are people who buy it. Every now and again, people say, I know. I'm like, okay, that guy bought it. It's stupid. And here's Linda. She said she budgeted for her pension. The rest of the savings, I haven't found what I spend. Haven't found what I must spend that savings on. 100%, Linda. Like, I mean, someone to offer me $1 million for my dollars for my dogs, I say no. Because I literally don't have much of a need. I don't want to fly in a private jet. I don't want to own a private jet. I don't want to own a yacht. I don't want any of that crap. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want a second house. And it's okay if you have these things. I'm not yelling at you. For me, I have no desire for any of that at all. Don't want a new car. Don't want new underwear. Other than razors to shave, and then my wife does my hair anyway. I don't want to eat ribeye. New York strip choice is fine. My man was telling me he got some prime standing rib roast at Walmart the other day for $7.99 a pound. I said, "Damn, that's good," because you can make those ribeyes right there. So if you can find some standing rib roast, right? Standing rib roast. Yeah, you want to buy that sucker up anyway. So I don't have that much needs. I mean, I do like coffee. You know what I'm saying? So I drink a lot of coffee, decaf. I do like ice cream. That's the bane of my existence. So I put a couple pounds on this beautiful, beautiful face of mine because I was eating like crazy junk food over the Christmas. But now that that's behind us, I'm hoping to eat less junk. But I don't really have a need for much, dude. It's crazy. Like, I mean, I want my mortgage paid off. But someone could literally offer me $1 billion for my two puppies. Like, oh, no, I literally have no need for that. I interviewed one time 10, 15 years ago at TIA Cref in Philly. And I interviewed with them, and I would never forget this. They were like, the dude who was interviewing me, a weird guy. He was just an odd duck. And I just remember he was okay, but he's weird. And I said, okay. He goes, if you follow what we tell you to do, you can make $700,000-$800,000 a year. I said, well, what is that? He goes, well, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I don't want, in my head, I'm like, I don't want that kind of money. I mean, you factor in city of Philadelphia taxes, New Jersey taxes, and then federal taxes. You're out 40% right out the gate. I said, so now that $800,000 is down to what, 460 or something like that. I like, or 440, something like that. I was like, and then you got to work your friggin' ass off. I said, I don't need that, man. That has no appeal to me at all. And that's where I got a bad feeling about that, because like, oh, they're selling the firm like that you're gonna have all this money, and I don't have any desire at all for any of that crap. I don't want a Mercedes Benz. And again, if you drive a Mercedes Benz, I got no problem with it. Here's oh boy, Brian is showing who he is. I think it's Brianna is what it is. Brian says, I'd take a Subaru over a Toyota. Brianna, you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? The Subaru drivers. Yep. Brianna. Okay, Brian. You tell us who you are. Next thing you know, you have let's put it this way, a rainbow flag bumper sticker. And next thing you know, you're going to say, it'll be coexist with a rainbow flag. And he'll say, oh, love. What do they say? Love is love. That's what Brian's going to say on his Subaru. That's funny. The older I get, the less I really want and need. What I'm saying. Had a great review with old Josh this weekend. Loving retirement. Thanks, Mom. During our adult years, says Denise, we spent the first 22 years accumulating stuff, the next 22 years enjoying stuff, and the next 22 years trying to get rid of all your stuff. Man, 100%, Denise. 100%. Originally, Toyota was named Toyota. Yeah. Standing rib roast has the bones. You're paying for the bone weight too. Yeah, it's $7.99, dude. Right? Freaking pulverizer. Always got to rain on my parade, dude. Literally pulverizer. Always got to rain on my parade. I say the moon is up there. You're like, oh, the moon's over here. All new car manufacturers are going to be hurt, and MSRPs have gone up 36% since 2019. Average car payments are $762. Yeah, that's on finance. I bet if you did a study on that, Brad, I bet their leasing is through the roof now. You know what I'm saying? It's a perpetual annuity for car dealers. I mean, if you think about it, a car dealer leasing is it's genius, man. I'm just gonna come up here. I gotta find my paper I want to share with you guys, and I left it upstairs. Friggin' idiot. So you're gonna get a little taste of my house here. Hang tight. I just had this paper. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. It smells good. I left my paper up here that I was wanting to do my live stream on. I want to say hi there. There's Maddie. There's Madeline. And Maddie's crushing. She's nervous. Got her first job. She's starting. Anything you want to say? Are you reading? Anything else? No? Cool. What's up, Mads? So Mads is crushing. Hold on just a second. How's that taste? Pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Never go wrong with Heinz 57 sauce, that's for sure. Love me some Heinz 57 sauce. I love supporting Teresa Heinz, that fool. Teresa Heinz and John Kerry. It was my boys, Teresa and John. Big Mike, she's going to be running, huh? I don't think she's gonna. I don't think Big Mike's going to jump in. I don't think she's gonna. I think she'll know she'll lose. I really do. I think she knows she'll lose. I don't think people are always inclined to say, oh, she's a black woman. She's going to run. I think I could be wrong. Maybe I'm living in my own bubble. I just don't think so. I think people are more pissed off about immigration. Did y'all hear about Andrew Cuomo? He's now attacking Biden from the right on lack of border control. That immigration's costing these guys dearly, man. It's great to see. Marie says Subarus are the best. Let me guess, Marie, you got a coexist sign on your back, on your car, don't you? Oh, boy. There's CB checking in, right on. Sean Maddox, yeah. 02 Dodge Ram still going. It's all Democrat white. No, I agree 100%. She's not running. It's not running, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Dinsmore says, I have found it hard to transition from the accumulation stage to the disbursement stage to enjoy our savings and investments. Any advice? Do an annuity, dude. 100%. An income annuity. Do an income annuity. That will help you with that transition. I'm just telling you right now because let me just. All right. So for you guys who've got my course initially, the locals people I gave access to my course, you'll see this right here. I'm redoing the bonds part of it. And the reason I'm redoing the bonds video, and I'd probably just leave it both out there, frankly, is because the man made a pretty good point. He said, I said I was going to talk about the difference between current yield and coupon, and he said I don't think you did. I said, oh man, I wanted to do that, so I redid the bonds video, and I'll post that here later on tonight. I'll probably just leave them both out there for people can watch both. But anyway, so what's that guy's name who just said that? I forgot his name. Hope y'all can still hear me. That guy made a good point though. The guy who said if a new car costs $762, people aren't going to spend that kind of money. I mean, some people, idiots, will, but most people won't. And what they're going to do is they're just going to keep their old cars, which is a huge win. Huge win. There's Kevin. No, I'm saying the other guy who said about buying a new car. People like $762 to buy a new car or just keep my old one. Yeah. No, wait till you have 4 kids who are driving. All right. So Chloe's got our Mini. Maddie's got our VW, the newest car. Kevin's still driving our 2012 Toyota Highlander. And Charlotte drives the Dodge, what the hell is it, Durango or something like that? Yeah, look at Denise, her Mazda. Am I dyeing my hair? If I dye my hair, would it look like this? Dishwasher. Denise still drives 35-year-old Mazda. Yeah. All right, so going back to what that guy said, Kevin Dinsmore. You people that own a Toyota just don't a good car when you see it. Know a good car when you see it? Says Brian Anna. I'm going to get an email from Brian said, I'm no longer subscribing. You made fun of me. Actually, most men aren't like that. All right, just FYI. Most men aren't like that. So that's why when my man Dougie sent me that email because I made fun of him, I was like, dude, but I was still to this day I'm stunned. I'm like, I can't believe it, man. I'm just like shocked that a man would be that. It was weird to me. So if Brianna is going to be like that, he won't be. It's the minute we're done with this thing, we'll go back to calling him Brian. We're still going to bust on Pulverizer. It's so easy because we don't even know Pulverizer's first name. Pulverizer's probably a chick. I bet Pulverizer's probably, 5'2", like $110, with a dyed blonde hair. It shows up. Oh boy. I bet Pulverizer's like 5'2", $110, with spiked dyed blonde hair. You know what I'm saying? And these big freaking old fashioned Hillary Clinton glasses. When they first introduced Hillary, when she was dating Clinton, she had these huge glasses that were uglier than the glasses we got in the Army. I think that's Pulverizer. Yeah, I bet that's Pulverizer. And I guarantee Pulverizer's got a Subaru with a Coexist, Pink Floyd on there, of course, and the 57 flavors on there. Oh, man. All right. Anyway, so Kevin said, how do I increase money? Dude, all the studies will show you that if your guaranteed income is here, you're going to spend to there. That's it. And we're going to go over why that's the case. If your guaranteed income is here, you're going to spend it there. I mean, all the studies show this. We just have this net inclination to spend to the extent of our guaranteed income. It's the weirdest thing, man, because we hate with a passion pulling money out of a portfolio. We hate it. My mom says I'm cool. Yeah. Have your mom come on this channel. Let's see what she says. Pulverizer got mad chicks. So yeah, at the Pink Floyd concerts, he said, hey, why don't we smoke this doobies together? They're mad chicks. And be like, sweet, Pulverizer. The next day, they don't remember who this guy was. They're like, okay, what happened? Oh, man. Yeah, smoke. Pulverizer's going to Pink Floyd. He's like, oh, man, look at this stage show. It's great. It's a good time for a dude. Come on, girls. And girls like, they're freaking like, yay, Pulverizer. And he's like, here, smoke this. And Pulverizer's like Quagmire from Family Guy. I say Bill Cosby. I say Quagmire from Family Guy. Oh man, that is funny. Behavioral psychology is a science. Yeah, I don't. I mean, what is science anymore? Though that's the issue. But I mean, the fact. I mean, even Daniel Kahneman, whatever that guy is come under some. He wrote "Thinking Slow and Fast" or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. And everyone, he won a Nobel Prize. His buddy Amos Tversky had died before he could win the Nobel, and they had some pretty interesting tidbits. I got his book up there, at least one of them, and it's interesting about human reaction to various things. And it's interesting. It turns out it might not be as truthful. I hate to sound like it's not. It might not be as scientific as otherwise perceived. There's a guy named Dan Ariely, Ariely at Duke, who does this behavioral finance, behavioral psychology stuff. And he's just getting reamed for a lot of studies that are just not, I don't want to say not legitimate, but there's a lot of issues that have warranted a lot of people say, what the hell, dude? You know what I'm saying? And the psychology of money. I don't know who wrote that, but I mean, but the thing is, so Dan Ariely, there's a lady up in at Harvard, I think it was. She got fired, a business professor. Basically, her thing was if you if you're signing like an insurance contract, in the first paragraph you say, will you basically be legitimate in your answers to these questions, yes or no? If you say that in the first paragraph, people are more inclined to be truthful than if you say it at the bottom of the contract, if that makes sense. And it turns out there's a lot of she got canned because they're like, no, this isn't based on reality. This is based on falsifying data. Now, I'm not accusing her of that. I don't know. I read this stuff. My man, Carl Stack. He actually got a big. He's the guy who took out. It wasn't Chris Rufo. He took out Claudine Gay. I mean, it was Chris Rufo too. Don't get me wrong, but my man Carl Stack is. I forgot his name, but Chris. He goes by Carl Stack on Substack. Freaking love that guy. He took out Claudine Gay because he's such a friggin' geek. He looks at the studies these people cite and he's like, well, let's look in this study. He goes, this study's full of crap, man. Carl, what the hell is that guy? Chris Brunet, Brunet, I think. Chris Brunet. I actually tried to interview him a couple years ago, and he's like, he said I get nervous public speaking, but he had written for the American Conservative. I think he was on some other pretty big rag that most right wingers would follow. Marie says she has a USA flag on there. There you go, right on, Marie. Right on. Morgan Housel. That name sounds familiar to me. Where did he come out of nowhere? I just started hearing about this guy or chick, Morgan Housel, but I can't remember why. My 51 Datsun is still running strong, worth 4 to 5 times what I paid. That's crazy. No kid, man. All right, you're back to the name Brian. Hell yeah, look at that. It's 51 Datsun. That's nuts. Dude, I would still have my 1983 Toyota Tercel, 2-door hatchback. That freaking guy was a beat. I don't even think was it 5-speed or 4-speed? I can't remember. But man, I freaking love that car. Betsy bought off my mom for $500 a stick. I think it was a 5-speed. It just, oh man, she just was freaking rocking sock 'em. I remember driving. So I went to buy it for my mom. I didn't know how to drive a stick. My mom was in Maine. I was in the Army in Fort Drum, New York. And I said, I have to learn how to buy this to drive this thing. You know what I'm saying? So I got to drive home back to the Army base, Fort Drum. Didn't know how to drive a stick. I was like, work, because I think I bought it like in the summertime, and or it was in the fall, like leaving. So, and what happens is in Maine, because everyone goes up for vacation in the beginning of summer, everyone leaves from vacation. The end of summer, the 95 is freaking backed like crazy. I don't know if it still is anymore, because back then it just used to be the tolls. Like people, you got to hand over your money. I remember sitting in the toll booth saying, please, let me just slide through here. Because, if you're in first gear, you know what I'm saying, you can just slide on through. You know what I'm saying? If you can even put in neutral and then put into first gear, no problem. It's when you come to a complete stop, you're like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, please don't let me stop where I can't do this going through the toll and everyone's going to be behind me, because there's like a million people leaving Maine. And I did have a little bit when I gave the person my money. It's like, let me just slide on through and give the person my money. I was able to get through there pretty easily, but I remember like, please. That's kind of fun. All right. So that's what you do there. I forgot the guy's name again. is you would just give yourself a guaranteed annuity. It's just that simple. Fix the speed. I talked about this in a video I just did today. If you want to increase your retirement income, just give yourself a SPIA. Anyways, that's what you do. You say, all right, I got $1 million for simplicity. I'm going to take 250, maybe 500. I give myself a guaranteed annuity. For simplicity, I'll get 6% distribution rate off that. That 6% will give me what, $18,000, right? 6%, 18,000. No, $15,000. I mean, it's just that simple. That's how you increase your income. Now you got $750,000 over here, but you got $15,000 more of income, and you will always spend that because you're like, yeah, it's coming in. Just that simple. So that's what you do, brother man. All right, let's keep going. So who do we got tomorrow? I'm predicting the Ravens are going to smoke Kansas City, and I think San Francisco will beat the Lions. I think they'll smoke the Lions as well. So we're going to have the Lions and Ravens Super Bowl. And I kind of don't want the Chiefs to beat the Ravens. I kind of want the Chiefs to beat the Ravens because I think the 49ers or the Lions. I'm going for the NFC team. I think the NFC team has a better chance against the Chiefs than they do against the Ravens. But at the same time, like when my kid said, my son Liam today, he said, the thing is, though, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. You see what I'm saying? I said, that's a good point, man. And I don't want Patrick, what's his name, Mahomes to take over Tom Brady. Yeah, I still know Morgan House. Freakonomics said that today. Sign at the top rather than. Yeah, but it's not true. That's the issue. See, this is what happens, man. This stuff gets around before the truth gets on. It's simply not correct. That's why that lady was fired, because her data set was. I'm going to say allegedly manipulated. I don't want to be sued for defamation. You know what I'm saying? Am I blocked? Why are you saying I'm blocked? I don't get it. No debt at all, says Clyde Adams. Always living on less than what he earned, retired. I was talking to a guy the other day, a younger guy, in his 40s. He's making good money, but he's not making more than $200,000 a year. He's got kids. His wife makes good money too, and they're making money. Don't get me wrong, but they're not like. But they got a lot of money squirreled away. None of it's from inheritance. No debt at all. I said, how'd you guys do that? We just always don't spend more than we got coming in. It's just that simple. I've been doing that for years. I said, but you had to have a background in this, or you saw your parents or something like that. He goes, well, I did used to try to, arbitrage. So I'd buy, candy at the store and I'd sell it at school and make a profit. I said, yep, that's it, man. He's got the thinking spirit of how to, turn a dime into a dollar. So I knew that guy. I knew that guy was going to crush, but he's young. I was like, damn, dude, you got to worry about estate tax more than anything. All right, yeah, big football tomorrow. Yep. I remember Turco. Oh yeah. So we went to a nuclear assault concert in Rochester. Me, this guy named Kevin, a couple of Spanish guys that were in my unit, and another. So we all five of us fit in there, and going from Fort Drum to see. I think it was suicidal tendencies now. Nuclear assault. No, we saw nuclear assault in Syracuse. So I can't remember. We're coming back from Rochester. We're coming back from Syracuse, seeing some metal show, and I was too drunk to drive. So Kevin drove, and we got hit by a deer. Totaled the thing. Oh, dude, that totally sucked, man. I'd still have Betsy. That was in 1990, 1991. I still have her today. She was just a freaking rock, dude. The Rock of Gibraltar. Oh man, I had a 2-door hatchback. My next car was another 2-door Tercel. It wasn't like a hatchback. I don't think they made the hatchbacks anymore though. But man, yeah. I don't. So I'm not sure I agree with this sentiment that's treasonous. I'm not sure I'm against sending our product overseas. I don't know. I haven't thought too much about it. I don't trust anything Sniffy Joe does, but if we're keeping our own liquefied natural gas in country as opposed to selling it, that means we have more and other countries have less, which seems like a pretty good move to me. If he's doing under the climate change thing, it's just words. I'm not all that against that necessarily. Now, if he starts doing stuff where you can't drill, I get all that, but it's just like just because he closes out the exports of stuff that we actually have a need for as well, in of itself, that is a bomb. Behavioral finance. Look at friggin' Thomas Sowell. What's Thomas Sowell doing on my YouTube channel? Friggin' Thomas Sowell, you crush. Behavioral finance. Always enjoyed the endowment effect bias. I think the study used a coffee mug for the research. I don't know. But, Jill, you can't drive a stick? Damn, girl. Oh, yeah. I wanted to get a stick, something wicked. My wife's like, no. Okay. Oh, dude. Celtic Spirits, guys. Oh, for the love of the good Lord. You got to change your screen name then. Yeah, right here is my Subaru is plain silver with no bumper stickers. I put the mountain bike in back. I'm convinced that many other drivers mistake me for a member of 57 Flavors or Coexist Colt 2. 3 Toyotas in my family, right on. Yeah, Linda says it wasn't for that 65 Buick broadsiding my Turkle, I would still be running. It would still be running. This guy likes his Honda, but only got 2 wheels. Oh, man. Yeah, all EVs are quiet, though. I mean, that's the thing about electric vehicles. They're quiet. Actually, in fact, it's funny because I live in a pretty uppity place where lots of Teslas run around. So when I'm going for my walk, I always, before I cross the road, I always got to look over my shoulder to make sure it's not an electric vehicle. It's very, very quiet. Stick shifts are for control freaks. Sounds like DB Douglas doesn't know how to do what man can do. Man should be able to drive a stick. Sounds like DB Douglas doesn't know how to be a man, huh? Colossal government would have us riding electric crap, living in tiny shit. 100%. I can. Okay. Oh, now he comes up. He says he can drive one. Sure. He said, "Oh man, I'm looking like a wimp." I gotta say, next thing you know, DB Douglas say, people on firearms are control freaks. Not for me. I said, oh, because you don't know how to shoot. Hill stops where the worst will stick shift, and then hill stops with ice. You know what I'm saying? If you're going up a hill and it's like icy or something like that, you're like, oh no. With annuities, have any ever been defaulted? I'm sure some have, but yeah, Kansas. I want Ravens and Lions. Really? Ravens? I thought you being a Steelers fan, you would not want the AFC North team to win. I mean, have annuities ever been defaulted? I'm sure the answer to that is yes. Which one they are, I don't know. How many? Not very many. Not compared to banks, that's for sure. Dude, psychology used to get all of you. All right, oh, come on. You don't. All right, see, this is kind of holier than thou stuff here, sister or mister. Now you're starting to preach a little bit, and all of you to believe in the fall of space, globe heliocentric model, shaking my head indoctrination from childhood. Look, I don't think we landed on the moon, but come on, man, you can't yelling at people because they believe differently isn't a way to get people's minds to change. All right. How you get people's minds to change is make fun of the current thing. That's what you do. You laugh at it. You got to be funny. Humor runs things. I'm telling you right now. All you're doing is you're creating people that create in their own little bubble and say, oh, no, I'm not going to hear anything differently. But you got to make people laugh. That's why Owen Benjamin, with all his faults, is so effective because he is funny. Funny as hell. Mark Stein. Remember Mark Stein? He's going finally through the lawsuit with Michael Mann. Funny. You got to be funny, man. And that's why I hate to say it, but a lot of Christians, well-meaning, but I think they're going by it wrong. In fact, I just got a text last night from a good friend who's a Mormon, who's no longer a Mormon anymore. And he texted me a pint of Guinness, and he was quite devout. One of the most devout men I've ever met. A bunch of kids, good-looking wife, just like all Mormon families. I said, what are you doing? He goes, man, I'm drinking a Guinness. I said, why? He goes, I remember you talking about Guinness, so I want to see what it tastes like. I said, he goes, yeah, I'm not Mormon anymore. I said, what? I can't believe it. I said, why? He goes, he said the SHIT is fake, man. Or that's what he said. He goes, that SHIT is fake, yo. I was like, never heard this guy cuss before. He never drank. And I was like, what? I mean, I was stunned. He goes, yeah, the internet's bad for Mormonism. And I said to him, well, the internet is bad for the moon landing proponents too. My wife got a chuckle out of that. She goes, it's always the moon landing. I said, I know. It's always the moon landing. But I was kind of disappointed because you could see it right there. He's going from, and I'm not saying he's not a nice guy or anything, but just, cussing, kind of going back to a little bit more the cool kid way to talk. Like that SHIT is fake, yo. I was like, what? This guy? I was like, dude, what's going on here? It's weird. And I don't know, it just shows you that even if he was believing something fake, I'm not saying that. He had a more righteous mentality of his living. And now he's believing what's real, supposedly. He has less of a one. And I just, in terms of the way he came across, I was disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you. And I told him, I told him, give me a call next week because I want to hear his story. You know what I'm saying? And very disappointed, actually. Look at Tom Soul. Tom Soul give me $5, man. Thank you, Josh. Great point that any cuts in Social Security hammer GDP. Right on, Tom. Put me in your next book, all right? Anyway, I was disappointed, man. And I completely agree, man. When you are lied to by religious leaders for years, there's a boomerang effect. Imagine being lied to and then being molested by one too. You know what I'm saying? And then the Catholic Church was. This is Catholicism. I'm talking. No, this guy's a Mormon. I don't know what the hell Mormons did. Imagine being molested by one, and because that's where many 57 flavors could become Catholic priests, if you know what I'm talking about. And they took advantage of it, and I think it's all designed like that in terms of allowing evil to work its way into the church to get people to turn away from the church. And the problem is this is Catholics now. We have a pope who's completely just not even oblivious. He's allowing this agenda to happen. It's insane. Hey, all right, Marie, good. So you gotta let me know what it's like. Yeah, it's funny that because my aunt posted something that there are more non-religion people in America or something like that than religious people. That doesn't bother me. I said, just because they're non-religion doesn't mean they don't believe in a creator. You see what I'm saying? Maybe even non-denominational. I don't think South Park ruined Mormonism for him. This is a more recent deconversion, if you will. I was raised Catholic. Josh was right about the Pope. Oh, yeah, the Pope's. I don't think any real Catholic would say this Pope is a force for good. I don't think he's certainly not God's ordained. I don't care what anybody says. But anyway, so I think what happens is just because you're not religious doesn't mean you don't have a faith in the big guy upstairs. Because my religion is lessened, but my faith is growing every day. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, it says, I think God is beyond religion. I'll just put that way. I do. God is so big. And I still think Jesus Christ, without question, was killed on a cross and rose again from the dead to open the gates of heaven. 100%. Absolutely. But that wasn't Christianity back then. That was Jesus, the Son of God. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think, I'm still a Christian. I follow as best I can Jesus, don't get me wrong. But I don't think, they used to call that the way before Christianity came. But I don't think necessarily that just because you're non-religious per se, that means you're an atheist. And that's what I told my aunt. She goes, that's a good point. Because I think a lot of us see things like this. We go, oh my goodness, they're going to convert to Muslim or they're going to become an atheist. I don't think so. I think some could convert to Muslim. I think Muslim has an appeal to people who need strength in their life because Christianity, and at least mainstream Christianity, has gone from strength to real weakness. I think Islam, to its credit, it says no. The real Muslims who are practicing, have stood on their faith and said we are strong. And I think and I don't think Muslims like look at Iran and Pakistan are now battling. The whole thing that Muslims are going to unite to kill us. I find that so stupid. They can't. It's like Christianity. We can't unite each other. We're not going to. Anyway, the point being is, I think at the end of the day, a lot of the Christians who convert to Islam convert because Christianity is so weak lately, if that makes sense. And it really is. And there's still tons of Christians crushing. I just posted something on my Facebook page. This lady who, let's put it this way, instead of injecting children with various things, and this isn't COVID related, it's other various things, she was given homeopathic medicine, as the parents agreed to, by the way. The parents knew this. And she got fined by the state of New York $350,000. And she's freaking kicking ass and taking names. And my man Jeff Childers over at Coffee and COVID blog posted about her, and I just donated $52 to her because I said, "Man, you're crushing." And she's a big time Christian. I'm killing it. She's freaking awesome. And that's the thing with Christians. We got so ingrained in this world. I don't know if that's the right word, entranced maybe, that we're just fat and lazy. We haven't had to be strong. You know what I'm saying? And as such, it's coming back on us. And I think men in particular need to revisit their strength and to reclaim their strength. Because, I was listening to Owen Benjamin's talk about that movie Nefarious. I haven't seen it yet. It's on Amazon. I'm gonna watch that when I'm done watching the show. I'm watching tonight. I watched a little bit yesterday called The Nest, which is great because it's about this guy who pretends he's all of that in a bag of chips to his wife, but he doesn't have a pot to pee in. And I hate guys like that. Like, I'm so rich. Look at me. And they don't have a pot to pee in. Anyway, Nefarious, man. Nefarious. So what happens is the freaking the devil is inside. I've only seen clips of it. The devil's inside this guy, and he's talking. Basically, he's talking to a psychologist, and the psychologist is about ready to convince his girlfriend to have an abortion. Dude, whoa! I was listening to this, it really brings chills down my spine. It was, first of all, the freaking acting is insane. I don't know much about acting, but I'm sitting there thinking, whoever's playing that devil guy, that guy is freaking insanely good as act. I was like, I was convinced he was literally the devil. It was crazy. I don't know if you've seen Nefarious, but man, it's freaking crazy. He's like, oh yeah, the woman basically saying the men are guilty for abortion. I was like, hallelujah, man. Hallelujah, 100%. The men are guilty for it, not the woman. It's the man who's guilty for it. It's just a fact. Who loves abortion most, the women or the men? The men do. Because they get to freaking wet their willies with no responsibility, no personal body, not loss of bodily autonomy or anything. The women who experienced abortion anyway, so men have pushed and pushed and pushed abortion because men like to freaking get jiggy with it without any responsibility. Anyway, this guy was talking about it, but it's way different than I'm saying. The way he was doing is like, he's 100% right. So it's on Amazon for free. Nefarious. I don't know if you'd say that. Most non-religious. Do you have any evidence of that, Jill? I don't know that. Most non-religion tend to become quite secular and worldly when it comes down to it. I don't know if that's. I can't go that. You don't know. You might know. You might have some evidence of that. I don't. In fact, I look at many religious, and they're very secular and worldly too. Yeah, Nefarious. Watch Nefarious, dude. I haven't seen the movie. That's my next list. But man, it is freaking. Apparently, it's just a dialogue between the devil who's taking over people's souls, the demons, and it sounds great, man. Love don't cure all. Sometimes you got to show them how the cow eats the cabbage. I don't even know what that means. I choose my friends because I like them, not because of their faith. Actually, Kevin, I think your friends you choose, you might like them, but it might not go the other direction. Kevin chooses invisible friends. You know what I'm saying? Kevin's like, oh, here's my friend Invisible, my other friend Invisible. This guy's got ACA subsidy, insurance subsidies is great. Has anyone seen the trailer for Civil War? They have a Cali and Texas succeeding and forming their own republics. Where's that at? Yeah, right here. Is that what it is? Yeah, Brad. On the day of his scheduled execution, this is Nefarious, a convicted serial killer tells a psychiatrist he's a demon who can possess his body. And the crazy thing is, I don't think it's a ruin to you, but the psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever the hell they are, is like, nah, get out, you're nuts. And the guy says, oh, well, how's Mindy doing, by the way? The guy, the psychiatrist, what? Oh, yeah, how's Mindy doing? Knowing full well that Mindy was going to scheduled to get an abortion. Abortion's evil. Look, Republicans can lose until the cows come home. You cannot be a defender of abortion. It's evil. And men are the reason for it. It's just a fact. And men are the biggest proponents of it. It's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? And men need to take responsibility, as I tell my kids, to keep their freaking pants on until they get married. Just a fact. In fact, I was thinking about this the other day. I was going through some old stuff in my attic. I was coming across some old high school pictures and stuff. It's like, looking at, people I used to hang with and, like girlfriends and stuff. I said, what if they didn't have kids? I mean, I have no clue. I don't follow anybody from high school. I just wondered. It's like, do any of these people have kids? You know what I'm saying? Because what's happened is we've encouraged society to just have fun, don't have any responsibility. And it sounds great while you're young and dumb, but today, Kevin my oldest son spotted me on the weights. I play basketball with my other son almost whenever it's nice out. You know what I'm saying? And like, these are things, dude. I'm Maddie's getting ready to pack up for her journey to her first gig, and we're working on that. And Chloe just texted. Funny, she just texted. The group, our family, saying, "Hey, she's on a study abroad," and they were showing pictures of her family to everybody, and she goes, all the people around, Chloe said, "Oh man, your mom is stunning." I said, "Damn straight, she's stunning." You know what I'm saying? And then she texted us and said, "Well, what do they say about me?" They said, "You're all right." And I said, "Oh man." I mean, how do you not? I mean, it's okay if you don't have kids, but I don't care. I'm just like, I just wonder, like, imagine not being married to someone who didn't want kids. I don't even. How would you even know, like, beforehand? Like, so because me, I'm just so stupid. I told Charlotte probably on our first date that I want a big family. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know she came from 9. She's one of 9. I didn't know that. I knew she was Catholic, so that gave me some intuition, but I didn't know she was one of 9. I said, yeah, I want a big family. And basically, that shuts a lot of girls down. They're like, hell no, I don't want that. I want to be like that stupid chick from Facebook, Cheryl, whatever her name is, Sandberg or something like that. All right. Let's get. I don't even know what the hell that means, Kevin. 72 Cornet with 3 in the tree. Keep it rolling, Josh. Keep it rolling. And we got El Orden Financiero. All right. That sounds like a pretty cool name. I have no friends, too much trouble. You got a friend in Texas. The Civil War trailer on YouTube. The movie hits theaters on April 12th. Abortion is wrong as a result of family disintegration. Yeah, maybe. I think it's a result of cheapening sex, though, frankly, all there is to it. And because there was men have always been silver tongued at trying to get ladies to take their pants off, if you know what I'm saying. Too many kids without both parents. Yeah. It's Harry. We're just talking about annuities, Harry. Just talking about income annuities. Look at Harry. Look at Harry's crushing. I just can't imagine not having grandkids. And I was talking to a guy just yesterday who lost one of his kids from meth, and he's got a second kid that's in a bad place, but his son is crushing. He's got grandkids, and it's like it's worth the risk, man. Having kids, freaking worth the risk. Based on people I worked with and extended family, I'm not saying all those who are a member of a church are all perfect, but overall, people take time. Oh yeah, well, if you go to church on a regular basis, I completely agree. I don't have any disagreement with that. I think if you're going to church, making a practice of it. But this guy was, dude. This guy was not only going to church. And Mormon church on Sunday is a day commitment. I mean, it's a great guy. And I'm just like hearing him cuss. He wasn't dropping F-bombs or anything, but just like, it's like, dude, this isn't good, man. And if Mormonism and all its lies, I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying, just say it did. I'm not saying it does. Keeps you on the straight and narrow to raise good children, be a good man to your kids, be good in the community, and that's worth it. It really is. Mormons, some of the best preppers are Mormons. You know what I'm saying? LDS Prepper on YouTube. That guy freaking crushes. Now, some of the Mormons, I'll grant you, I have met some Mormons who like the finer things, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But they tithe like crazy. The problem with Mormons is what they did is they just like Catholics. I don't know about Andy Stanley at the, what the hell is that place called down here in Alpharetta, North Point Community Church. I don't know what they did, but the COVID stuff, they show their true colors, man. A lot of Catholics like, oh, no, you can't come and get the sacrifice. Oh, it's crazy. And Mormons did the same thing. Mormons promoting the jab. I'm stunned by it. I said, of all churches, Mormons, and nope. And I don't know about your run-of-the-mill Muslim mosque, but I have a sneaky suspicion the Palestinians weren't promoting the jabs the way the Israelis were. Just thinking out there. Think outside the box. You got a sneaky suspicion the Palestinians, I don't know about their gun control, but Israel had pretty heavy gun control. Got a sneaky suspicion, and I do know this, that Israel is probably one of the gayest countries on the planet. And I don't think Palestinians are the gayest on the planet. All right, so we're 0 for 3 there in terms of saying how bad the Palestinians are versus how bad the Israelis are. I'm not saying Israel's bad. I'm not saying they deserve the Hamas thing. I think the Hamas thing was set up, dude, 100%. There's no way in God's green earth that just happened happenstance. No way. I'm sorry. No way. You know what I'm saying? What was the end result? I don't know. But I just tell you, no way that just happened. It did not happen like that. Hand gliders with AK-47s. Come on. All right. So let's three on the tree is as I stand before your times. As I stand before man. Cows come home but won't eat cabbage. Man, I don't know, man. Cows come home but won't eat cabbage. That means something to somebody. You could still pull chicks. You could still pull chicks now, Josh. Oh, the young ladies, you mean? Oh, yeah. I don't think so, man. Jeez. I'm not getting anyone hotter than my wife, if you know what I'm saying. My wife's pretty freaking smoking hot, dudes. I'm just telling you right now. It's like, she don't look like she's 49 years old. You know what I'm saying? And she's smart. She's funny. I was able to convince her to wreck it. It's funny. She is 100% more anti-vax than I am. And if you would have told me that pre-2020, I would have thought you're nuts. You know what I'm saying? And now she's listening to Mark Stein, on his Facebook page where they're talking about the Michael Mann lawsuit against climate change. Is great. I was like, damn, my wife is crushing. It's fantastic. 3 on the tree is a column shift car. Had a 1968, was that a Ford F-100? That was a 3 on the tree. Column shift car. Exactly, dude. 3-speed shifter on the steering column. Oh, on the not down here, but oh man. Oh, boy. Harry says he knows a thing or two about annuities. Lots of Mormons. No, that can't be. Lots of Mormons run the casinos in Las Vegas. No, tell me that's not true, man. That's bad. 3 on the tree is a basic H pattern, just not on the floor. Okay. I've never seen a correlation between being religious and being materialistic. People just either are. I completely agree. I think that's true. I think at the end of the day, church-going people, 100%, regular attendees of church are probably going to be more religious than non-regular attendees of church, 100%. In terms of their faith in the supernatural creator of all things, I think they'll probably be more faithful in that too. I don't have any qualm with that. I think the general population, though, who goes to church every now and again, the general population who doesn't go to church every now and again, I think the general population has probably the same faith in a supernatural being. They might not fall suit for the Christian Orthodox way of thinking, because what is the Orthodox way? There's only one Christian way. That Jesus rise from the dead. That's it, man. Now, it's funny because just going through your old Bible, Elisha was a baby from the dead, and then we have other people raised from the dead. That is in the Old Testament and the New Testament. I mean, this is the fact. But just going through the Old Testament, it's like 3 people already raised from the dead. Elisha raised one, a baby from the dead. I just read a couple of days ago about someone else being raised from the dead. I can't remember who the prophet was who did. I forgot. Maybe it was Elisha. I forgot. Anyway, point being is just because you're raised from the dead doesn't mean you're the savior. You know what I'm saying? So, but we have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Remember the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All right, those are the Gospels. and a lot of similarities between their stories of Jesus. There's some differences too. And I think, for those of faith, I think they need to look into the apologist side of a defense of Christianity, because you can be quickly swayed against your faith by having a guy like Bart Ehrman, who's freaking brilliant. I love Bart. That guy crushes. But he can pretty quickly interject some thoughts in your mind that you were not privy to before, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's all a lie. And now Bart Ehrman doesn't say that. I give credit. Maybe he does in other things, but the videos I watch of Bart Ehrman, he doesn't say it's a lie. He doesn't say, oh, these idiot Christians. He goes, this is what it is, and here's what we have for evidence that will challenge that to some regard. I think Bart Ehrman is probably a good man. You know what I'm saying? And he's not an anti-Christian. He's just an agnostic. He's not an atheist. At least, I don't think he calls himself atheist. But I like Bart Ehrman because that's a guy who will challenge your thinking on this stuff, man. And and this is why I said, I have a client who went to seminary school, and I said it's funny because the people I know who go to seminary school, some come out the biggest atheists there are, or the biggest anti-Christians, I should say. He goes, yep, that happened in our seminary too. Because all these guys, they go to seminary because they have this desire to preach the word, but they haven't really heard the challenge to the word, and then they read the scripture, and then all of a sudden they're like, that's not what I thought. You know what I'm saying? Especially the Old Testament. It's tough, man. It's tough. And so they go in there with what they thought was a strong faith, but it was actually weak faith, because they weren't quite sure the arguments against the faith. And now they hear the arguments against faith just by reading the book itself. And they're like, they said, I didn't know that. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem. You don't read the book. You don't know what you don't know what you read. You don't know what your faith is if you don't read the book. All right. So it's lots of Mormons. Is that true? Well, we didn't have a car till I was freaking 12 years old, Andrew. So come on, jeez. So we didn't have a TV, or I didn't have a TV till I was like 9. Didn't have a car till I was 12. So I was born in 1970. The first car my dad had, this is after my parents split. We call it Snoopy. It was a Dodge Colt. It wasn't Dodge Colt. It was like what the hell was it? It was a different version of the Dodge Colt. It was I forgot what it's called, but it was white. It was a stick. It wasn't a Dodge Colt. It was like, what was that thing called? I forgot. Yeah, but Jill, Catholics and Protestants have different Bibles too. I mean, we got 73 books, and Protestants only have 66. So we could easily say those people aren't Christian either if it's based on their book. I think it's based on whether or not you think Jesus rose from the dead and is the savior of all humanity because of his actions on the cross. I think it's pretty simple for me. Did Jesus live? Yes. Did he die? Yes. Did he rise again from the dead? Yes. And did he foretell that happening? And if so, I think it's pretty simple to say I'm Christian because I want to throw in with that guy. Now, if you do believe that, as Satan knows that Jesus is profound, just because you believe that doesn't mean you're Christian. I mean, because Satan is not a Christian, but Satan knows that Jesus is glorified for sure. But Satan certainly isn't a Christian. Satan's like, wow, yeah, I get you, Jesus. But just because I know that you're the Son of God, that doesn't mean that I follow you, if that makes sense. I know, dude. Ooh, let's see if I got any pictures of the missus. Let's see what we got here. She doesn't really like when I take pictures. And then she has this, she's such a knucklehead. Oh boy. She don't like when I take pictures. She's like, yeah, I don't look very good. I'm like, man, oh, by the way, there I am. My last day at Fort Drum, New York, right there. Just getting ready to leave base. Look at that. Your old buddy Josh and my civilians just getting ready to leave. That's February 27th, 1992. I was like, it's going through some old pictures. That's when I was getting ready to get out of the Army. There I am on Peaks Island, right there. It's me in the Rams outfit, right there. That's Matt Teff, one of my good friends. It's probably 1976. Yeah, that's Peaks Island where I lived. Pretty cool, huh? Yep. And there I am signing my enlistment termination status paperwork to get out of the Army. Right there. There's your old buddy Josh and the BDUs signing it, saying, I'm getting out. Oh, man. That was a good day. That was a good day. Charlotte can't make an appearance, make Josh look bad. Oh, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. I don't think I got any pictures here. I've got mostly just pictures of dogs. Oh, there's me right here. My Uncle Charlie, when he graduated from the Naval Academy. 5 years old, your old buddy Josh. Look at that. It's my Uncle Charlie graduating from the Naval Academy. Look at me. It's freaking handsome. But I knew back then, I said, look, dude, I like the ladies, so I'm not going to the Navy. I like the ladies. Yeah, lots of dog pictures, lots of pictures of the kids. Charlotte doesn't let me take many pictures of her. Look at that. Look at that cutie. He wants to get the sun. He loves getting sun. Oh, my goodness, such a handsome man. Yeah, I don't think I have many of old Char. Let's see. Well, this is a couple years ago. That's us at the Carolina Hurricanes. Going to a Bruins game at the Carolina Hurricanes game right there. And there's my wife on the, like over here, the other side. Without the Bruins, that's her right there. It's freaking hot as, man, tell you what. Man. Let's see if I got any other pictures of the beautiful. Oh, there she is. Us a couple years ago too, in Newburyport, New York, Massachusetts. There she is. That looks like Nikki Haley there a little bit, don't she? Of course, my wife is freaking smart. Nikki Haley ain't that. This is what I love right here. Though. Check this out. Went to the moon, 1969, 2017. Still can't go to the moon. All right. So let's see. Let's bring up this article. All right. Well, it's 22 years old. Marie has 22 years old. That's how old I was. I hope I look young compared to now. The implication, I look so young, now I don't look so young is what you're saying, Marie. Someone actually said that the other day on my YouTube channel. Says, you look older than 1970, like, because I was born in 1970. I said, what? I said, damn, dude. I look older than 53 years old. I pay almost $1,800 a year for auto insurance. And I drive like a granny. Yeah, that's freaking nuts, dude. All right. So I want to share with you this article here. All right, let me get my spectacles. Why do retired households draw down their wealth so slowly? I look younger than 22 there. I've always kind of looked young. Apparently not anymore. Apparently I look older than 53. Give me a break. Maybe I should start dyeing my hair. Maybe I'll dye it yellow. Like I used to be, blonde. I can't do it. I can't dye it yellow. I won't dye my hair. Catholic Bible is original. It has some extra books that Protestants took out later. I don't disagree with that in the least. You know what I'm saying? I learned buku from you, Josh. Thanks, Kevin. I asked what question earlier? You asked a question, Paul Bradley. Let's see. All right. So, all right. So this is pretty interesting. So this is written in 2023, October 2023, and it's the point being is at least you have hair to dye. That is true. At least you have hair to dye. Yeah, I'm happy for that. My granddad, my granddad, my wife's, my mom's dad. Isn't that what it is? My wife's dad, and no, my wife's dad, my mom's dad. He had a set of hair, my grampy. All right. So I'm just going to read you the beginning here because this is pretty interesting. Then we're going to go into it. And you can, yeah, right on, Kevin. Look at Kevin said, I've shattered many retirement myths. I'm going to shatter a couple more here with this article here too, because you're like, damn. The life cycle framework of Modi Glinani, I'd never pronounced this guy's name. I think he won a Nobel Prize like the 50s. Modi, that's usually the way it works, Maria. It takes about an hour to get cracking here. I know. Just stick to the issues. Chuck said, I see this issue. All the uninsured drivers, i.e., illegal immigrants, man, I'm telling you. When we were in Arizona and we moved back to Virginia from Arizona, our auto insurance policies fell like 50% because all the illegal immigrants in Arizona. It's crazy. Modigliani, anyway, there's an old economist around the same time as Markowitz named, I want to say it's Francis. Was it Francis? I can't remember his first name. Henry? I forgot. Modigliani, I can't pronounce it. And he did this thing called the life cycle. All right. And basically what it is households will smooth consumption by accumulating wealth during their prime earning years and then spending it once they retire. All right. That's the model, the life cycle consumption model. You're going to save, and then you're going to spend. That makes sense. The simplest version of the model, with no bequest motives to leave money downstream or uncertainty about length of life, so you don't know how long you're going to live. You're not worried about your longevity, and you're not trying to leave money downstream. All right. The simplest version further predicts that households will begin decumulating their wealth as soon as they retire and will die with no wealth. All right. So they're going to bounce their last check because they don't care about leaving money to anyone behind them, and they're not worried about their longevity. This prediction stands in sharp contrast to the data, which show that retired households, especially those with high lifetime incomes, I chuckle when he says high, because high we saw rich people, it's not. But anyway, especially those with high lifetime income, decumulate their assets very slowly. Indeed, many die leaving large estates, and I chuckle at large. In the past 2 decades, a growing literature has sought to explain this retirement savings puzzle. In this article, we review and evaluate the 3 leading explanations for why older households are reluctant to draw down their wealth. All right, interesting, is it not? Yes, it is. So let's go. I'm just going to kind of go through my highlights here. So basically, they're going to look at 3 things. They're going to look at health. Basically, health. They're concerned about healthcare, essentially, as you age. People are afraid to spend down their wealth because they're concerned about healthcare. They're going to look at bequesting their wealth. People are not going to spend down their wealth because they want to leave a big bequest, an inheritance. And then they're going to look at households, their houses that they have. People are afraid to do reverse mortgages or something like that because the household is considered part of your wealth. Because they like the idea of staying in their homes and they don't want a debt against their homes and they don't want the house to be taken from and all that. So there's 3 reasons why they're thinking, why do people not spend down their house? Spend down their wealth. And, if you're thinking about leaving a bequest, you're not going to spend down your wealth. If you're worried about long-term care or any kind of health insurance, you're not going to spend down your wealth. And then finally, if you're, saying, I don't want to be put out of my house, I'm not going to take a reverse mortgage. I don't want to take on debt. I'm debt intolerant. I'm not going to spend down my wealth there either. It's very interesting. And then they kind of look at the facts behind it. One thing that's very interesting, I wonder if I can bring this up, actually. Hold on a second. I should be able to bring this up. Oh, I don't know why I didn't think about that to begin with. Hold on, guys. Hang tight with me. We'll bring this up. Get the. Right. Oh, by the way, I'm going to try to interview my man Andrew Biggs, here pretty soon as well. Hold on a second. He was on my YouTube channel, actually. He posted something. I said, is this Andy Biggs? The Andrew Biggs. He goes, yep. And right here. There we go. Sweet. And I'm going to interview him. And then in a couple of weeks, I'm going to interview my guy, Sean Mills from hackmyhomestead.com. He's got an ebook about his off-grid living. And I interviewed Sean a while ago, 3 or 4 years ago, because he's got everything. He's got solar. I don't know if he's got wind, but he's got propane. He's got natural gas, the whole thing. And a great guy. And so he's got an ebook coming out. I'm going to interview him as well about the current state of alternative energy, if that makes sense. And he's off-grid. Is he off-grid? I know solar is not grid-tied. I think he is off-grid, actually. I'm almost positive he is. But it's not just all solar. It's off-grid with other sources of energy generation as well. Can't remember, but I think he almost positive. So I'm going to interview him as well for a different thing. All right. So here's the. Yeah, here we go. Sweet. All right. So here we go. Make sure y'all can see that. Yeah. Sweet. And I put a link in the show notes, I think. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to skip forward to right here, page 94, right, 94, right here. All right. All right. The median 75-year-old right here. Oops. Right here. The median 75-year-old in the median 75-year-old in the top income tercile. Now, I didn't know what tercile meant, so I had to look it up. Tercile means it's divided into three, instead of being like quintile, 20%, 20%, 20%, or whatever fourth is, quartile. For quartiles, 25%, 25%, 25%. Tercile is 33%, 33%, 33%. All right, so you got three different groups here. So the median 75-year-old in the top income tercile, top 33%. So the median of the top 33% enters our sample with about $200,000 in wealth in 2014 dollars, while the one at the bottom holds essentially no wealth at all. Over time, those in the top income tercile, now this is the top 33%. This is 33% of the population, not the median of the top 33%. Overall, over time, those in the top 33% of the population in terms of net worth tend to hold substantial wealth well into their 90s. Those in the middle tercile, the second 33% group, display some asset accumulation as they age, and those at the bottom tercile hold hardly any wealth at all. Thus, even at older ages, richer people save more, i.e., they don't spend. It's growing. A finding first documented in 2004 for the whole life cycle. All right, let's keep going now. The right panel of figure 1, let's go to the right panel. So we're going to kind of show you right here. This is the right panel. The right panel of figure 1, I'm not sure which is right. Let's see here. Yeah, right, for couples. This is couples. All right, the right panel reports median wealth for households who are couples in 1996. So they're basically, so what's happening here is anytime we use the HRS, we're following a group of people. It's called the longitudinal study. We're following them from, they're 70 years old, they're 72, they're 74, they're taking Josh and Charlotte. We're following Josh and Charlotte when they're freaking 70 years old, 72, 74. We're following them through the life cycle. That's what makes the HRS very, very interesting. So right here. So here's the right. So the median wealth for households, couples right here. So this is the median wealth. This is the top tercile right here, the middle tercile, and the bottom tercile. And this is in 2014 dollars. All right, the median wealth. All right. So, and the right panel reports median wealth for households who are couples in 1996. In later years, many of these households lose a member and become singles, in which case report the wealth of surviving spouses. So look at that. This is when a spouse dies. Right there, right there. Isn't that crazy? So a single, a couple has more money than singles. And we're going to get in that a little bit more here in just a second. So when they become singles, we report the wealth of the surviving spouse. It drops significantly. Couples are richer than singles. Couples in the highest income tercile hold around $300,000, right there. Couples in the highest income tercile hold about $300,000 bucks. And couples in the lowest income tercile hold about $70,000 in the early stages of their retirement. So look, I mean, they're basically riding $70,000 in the lowest tercile. This is couples now, not singles. This is couples. All right. So couples, even in the lowest tercile, hold about $70,000 in 2014 of asset, of net worth. As with singles, couples in the highest income tercile hold large amounts of wealth well into their 90s. You can see they hold large amounts of wealth well into their 90s. These are singles. These are couples. All right. While the lowest tercile hold little wealth. So the lowest tercile is, and if you're a couple, it's about 40,000 or so. And if you're single, no wealth. Right. 1,000. This is a median. All right, that makes sense. Let's keep going. Many couples experience a significant decline in wealth when one spouse dies. Right there. Some of this decline is attributable to an end-of-life medical and other expenses, but most is due to bequests to non-spouse heirs. Are you all hearing that? This drop-off isn't because they're running out of money and the wife is getting poor necessarily. Some of it's attributed to healthcare, but they say right here, most is due to the bequest to non-spouse heirs. Josh dies, Charlotte's still alive, I leave a good portion of my money to my children, and she inherits the rest. But isn't that interesting? It is well documented that health and wealth are positively correlated. As a result, poor people die more quickly, and as a cohort ages, its surviving members are increasingly wealthy. I hope you guys are getting that. It is well documented that health and wealth are positively correlated. As a result, poor people die much more quickly, and as a cohort ages, its surviving members are increasingly likely to be, I hate to say rich, wealthy. Failing to account for this mortality bias will lead a researcher to understate asset decumulation late in life. That's interesting. So what's happening here is you're saying, well, look, this is our wealth isn't declining as much. Well, the reason the wealth isn't declining as much because the poor people died earlier than the wealthier people. And the poor people are the ones that don't have that much wealth. And so if the poor people without that much wealth are dying, and the rest of the cohort, the group of people we're studying, are inherently less poor than the people who died, that means they have more wealth. Isn't that interesting? Now, what they go on to say here is they're going to say, failing to account for this mortality bias will lead a researcher to understate decumulation later in life. We show that a mortality bias is quantitatively important, although conditioning on income, as we do in the above graphs, reduces its effects. Regardless of how mortality bias is addressed, the puzzle remains. The asset decumulation of older households is significantly slower than that implied by the lifestyle model, which is what all financial planning is based on. Anyway, I want to point that out. I gotta say. So what that tells you is, well, I'm poor. Health is wealth. If you're poor, you're dying earlier than people who aren't poor, which means we don't have to worry so much about you running out of money when you're 95 years old. And it even gets better for the poor people here, and I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes. I hope that makes sense, man. If you're poor, you're probably going to die sooner than wealthier people. And you can say that's horrible. I don't care. It's reality. Which means you have less life expectancy to have your assets, which you don't have much to begin with, to last. It's a big deal. And then the surviving people, this mortality bias, I call it survivorship bias, the survivors inherently have more money on average because the poorer people are dead. All right, let's keep going. Precautionary savings motives. One explanation for why retirees appear reluctant to spend down their wealth is that by saving, they insure themselves against the risk and associated costs of living long and having high medical spending. That's what they say. I don't want to spend much because I'm going to live too long and have high medical spending. Let's go, keep going here. I'll show you this right here, this whole thing to 16 more years right there. In an important study, early study, Davies showed that when lifespans are uncertain and there's no annuity income, individuals with reasonable levels of risk aversion will never fully deplete their wealth. Going back to what that guy said, Kevin Dinsmore. How can I give myself an increase in income, but I'm still worried about the accumulation side of it? Right here. This is what Kevin Dinsmore is dealing with. A lot of you guys are too. This guy in 1981 showed that when lifespans are uncertain, we don't know how long you're going to live, and when there's no annuity income, that includes Social Security, but even with Social Security, you're saying, I'm worried about running out of money. Individuals with reasonable levels of risk aversion will never deplete their wealth. It's the annuity. Increasing the annuity will give you an increase in your income. It's just a fact. You'll be less risk you'll say, once you got the annuity kicking in, you're going to spend it. You're going to go buy a pack of baseball cards. Without the annuity income, you're going to have to literally pull it from your portfolio. Like, the risk of living long may be especially strong for rich people, women, and people in good health, who tend to live longer than their poor, male, and sick counterparts. Using mortality rates estimated from this data set, we find that an unhealthy 70-year-old male at the bottom quintile of the income distribution expects to live only 6 more years, while a healthy woman at the top quintile of the permanent income distribution will live 16 more years. So a healthy woman who's 70 years old, who's in a higher income base, will live till she's 86. An unhealthy man who's in a lower income base will live till he's 76. Pretty interesting. So who should start freaking spending now some of their money? The unhealthy man better get cracking because he doesn't have that much life expectancy ahead of him. All right, so now we're going to look at this chart right here. This is, I think, pretty interesting. Now, I want to point something out. Hold on a second. Mean medical spending. Median wealth. All right. This is important. Mean is average. Average is not the same as median. Average is skewed towards the outliers. The people who spend the most will skew the averages upwards. Median is just 50% spend more, 50% spend less. This is average medical spending. It'll be distorted to look like more spending per person. Well, it's just not. And I'm going to show it. I'm going to prove it here in just a second. All right, let's just go. All right. The left panel right here shows the sum of out-of-pocket expenses and the payments made by Medicaid. All right, so this is using 2014 dollars. We show the cohort age when they're 78, 82, 86, 90, 94, 98, and 102. The top tercile, when the cohort was 100 years old, was spending $27,500 a year. On average, was the average spending. Not the average person was spending that much. The average spending was $27,500 a year. The top tercile of income. The bottom tercile, again, this is someone who's 100 years old, was spending about $22,500. But guess what? The bottom tercile wasn't spending that because Medicaid was kicking in. Let's keep going. Out-of-pocket expenses are the sum of what an individual spends on drugs, hospital stays, nursing home care, home health care, blah, blah, blah. The public, let's see. The left panel shows that medical expenses rise rapidly with age for individuals in the middle income tercile, meaning spending from roughly $6,000 a year at age 76 to $26,000 a year at age 100. But again, this bottom tercile, the poor people, they're not paying this because Medicaid's paying for it. So this is out of pocket plus Medicaid. If we just use straight out of pocket, look at the bottom tercile. They're spending $2,500 at 78, $4,000, about $6,000 a year. The bottom tercile. This again without including Medicaid. The middle tercile, as they get older, they start spending more. But guess what also is happening here? Again, more survivorship bias. As you get older, you start spending more in your medical, right? Because these people are that dead. Many people are dead before they even start spending very much on Medicare. As you get older, you start spending more, or not Medicare, healthcare, which means this is a survivorship bias in the exact opposite way. We're survivor in terms of people who spend a lot of money on healthcare. Same thing here. People who spend a lot of money on healthcare are the people who are still living. Other people are dead well before that. I just showed you just a second ago. A guy in the lowest tercile income and not in good shape, he's dead by the time he's 76, most likely. So that guy's not even included in this. The only people included in this are going to be the older people who spend a lot of money in healthcare. But you can see here, when you factor in out of pocket, what their out of pocket is, not including government resources and whatnot, even the richer people out of pocket at 98 years old, they're spending $18,000 a year. Come on, $18,000 a year. And people are like, oh, but check this out. It gets even better. Right here. The left panel shows the medical expenses rise rapidly with age. Yep, we already got that. We'll keep going here. Oh yeah, here I want to go down here. Oh, right here. One sec. Right here. Given that out-of-pocket medical expenditures rise with permanent income, the saving motives that generate should be stronger for those with higher income, causing them to decumulate wealth more slowly. Because they're like, look, man, my out-of-pocket expenditures are going to rise because I can't rely on Medicaid, excuse me. So I need to have more savings, and when that time comes, because I have to pay out of pocket, which means the wealthier people spend more, and they spend more out of pocket as well, and they also live longer too. It's very interesting. Given that out-of-pocket medical expenditures rise with higher income, the savings motives they generate should be stronger for those with higher income, causing them to decumulate wealth more slowly. I.e., the richer you are, the less likely you're going to spend your money because the more concerned you are about having high healthcare costs. The poorer you are, and you're on Medicaid, you don't have that much wealth anyway. You're like, yeah, Medicaid's going to take care of it. Medical spending among retirees, check this out. This is where the freaking hammer hits home. Medical spending among retirees is not only high, but its distribution is very concentrated, with the top 5% of spenders accounting for 49.1% of out-of-pocket expenditures in any given year. The risk does not average out over time. Calculating the present value of lifetime medical spending, we find that the 90th percentile of discounted medical spending at age 65 is twice the size of the mean. All right, so let me just go back to this. The top 5% spend 50% of the cost of healthcare. Are y'all hearing that? The top 5%. Again, this is the average. The average skews towards those 5%. This is not median. This is mean, average. And the top 5% spend 49.1% of all out-of-pocket expenditures, which means 95% of the remainder are spending the other 50%. Medical expenses uncertainty reinforces the risks associated with lifespan uncertainty and increases the impact of medical expenses on savings. The total effect of medical spending is potentially large, modeling the entire life cycle. Check this out. These guys calculate that 13.5% of U.S. wealth is attributable to saving for old age medical expenditures. Because poor health raises medical spending and shortens lifespans, it affects the household's lifetime financial resources and spending horizon. This in turn affects the household's non-medical consumption and its marginal utility. Poor health may also affect the marginal utility for non-medical consumption more directly. For example, if you're worried about spending for healthcare, you're likely to reduce your expenditures on things like ski equipment. Interesting. You're like, I'm not going to go skiing because I'm worried about healthcare. You're going to raise the marginal utility of things like home services, like house cleaning and lawn care. I'm not going to go skiing because I'm worried about Medicare, but I do need house cleaning. That's going to be more valuable to me. If the marginal utility of non-medical consumption generally rises at older ages because of declining health, retirees would have another reason to hold on to wealth. That's very interesting. They're not going to spend because, like, man, I need someone to help me out of the house with household chores and lawn services. In addition to changes in health, events such as the need to acquire a new car or support a grandkid's education can impact the marginal utility of consumption. Again, do you value consumption over your ability to buy a new car or to help out grandkids? And the issue is you're not going to value your consumption that much. You're going to spend less. Now, here's a big one right here. Right here. While single households likely have lower, check this out. While single households likely have lower needs, the death of the husband often leads to large reductions in the wife's income. I die, Cheryl has a major reduction in her income. Widows are much more likely to be impoverished than wives. Widows are much more likely to be impoverished than wives. Saving is an important mechanism for insuring against this risk. So when I am living my best life with Charlotte and the kids are out of the house on that, I'm not going to be spending all kinds of money because I want to make sure Charlotte's got the biggest bang for her buck when I die. Because widows are much more likely to be impoverished than my wife would be. Inherently makes sense. You're losing a Social Security benefit. You're losing whatever, all kinds of stuff. You're also losing some expenditures still. But widows are much more likely to be impoverished than wives. Essentially saying Charlotte and I can live it's cheaper to have two people in one house than have one person in one house. Isn't that interesting? But check this out. This one's huge. Programs that provide social insurance to poorer households should weaken precautionary savings motives, i.e., they're not so worried about spending all their money because they got social insurance to protect them. In the United States, the two most important programs which the elderly will receive income and asset tested transfers from the government are Medicaid for medical expenses and supplemental Social Security income, cash payments. Such means-tested programs discourage savings. If you're poor enough to get these things, you're going to save yourself poor enough so you don't lose them. You're never going to save much because you'll lose these programs. These programs reduce both the average level of medical spending, as we talked about. All right, so Medicaid reduces the average level of out-of-pocket medical spending and the risk of catastrophic expenses. Moreover, they impose a steep implicit tax. When a low-income household receives means-tested insurance, increases in wealth leads to lower benefits, with little, if any, change in the resources available for consumption. Means-tested insurance has the potential to crowd out private savings, especially among the poor. As a result, social insurance programs can help explain why low-income retirees have so little wealth. 100, I cannot stress this enough. So all these idiots out there, look, oh my goodness, they're retired. Let me, where does it go? Right here. Well, they don't have any wealth. They don't have any wealth. They don't have any wealth. They're so poor. It's not fair. It's not fair. The reason they don't have wealth is because they're getting social programs, transfer programs. And if they have any wealth to declare, they'll lose $1 for the social insurance for every dollar of wealth they have. In fact, someone did a study on this that showed that, like, if you're in like welfare right now, if you got like a mom with 2 kids or something like that, I can't remember, you need to be making like over $40,000 to replace your income that you're getting on the transfer programs. And that'd be Medicaid, Section 8 housing, and whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? AFDC, SSI, all that stuff. So you're not going to go working for $20 an hour, freaking, going to Dunkin' Donuts, unless you're an honorable person, if you're getting $40,000, the equivalent of $40,000 a year in transfer payments. You're just not. We have this huge incentive to encourage welfare, 100%. And the same thing here. Why would a poor family, people aren't stupid, man. They know. Everyone has incentives. They know their own household. Everyone is conservative when it comes to their own finances. That's what's funny. Everyone is conservative when it comes to their own neighborhood and their own wealth, their own health. Well, not health, their own safety. That's where I was going with that. Everyone is conservative when it comes to their own safety, their own house, and their own finances. Just a fact. Crazy. And that right there, we just proved it. If you're on social welfare plans, you're like, oh, you don't have any money, it's so wrong. How can I have any money? Because they're on social welfare programs. I guarantee you, the minute we got rid of the social welfare programs, those people start saving. Anyway, I thought that's pretty interesting. All right, so basically what's happening here, and there's not a lot of income of data that says people are desperate to leave. People are trying to leave the quest. That's not the biggest issue in terms of why we're not accumulating assets. In terms of, I don't want to spend my money, I want to leave it to my kids. There's some of that, but not much. I'm not going to get into here tonight. But it's pretty interesting that, so we got, again, let me just look at it real quick. We had precautionary, we don't want to run out of money and have unforeseen healthcare costs, and we don't know how long we're going to live. We have bequests, I want to leave a bunch of money downstream, so I don't want to spend it, and we got housing. Let's just, I'm going to go to housing real quick. Here we go. The most important asset for most households in most countries is their primary home. According to data from the HRS, the Health and Retirement Survey, U.S. retirees on average holds 46% of their wealth in housing. You hear that? U.S. retirees, almost a half of their wealth is in housing. But if you look at only homeowners, 69% of homeowners' wealth is in housing. All right? So you take a homeowner and you say, so a guy who owns their home, 69% of that homeowner's wealth is in their house. It's not in their 401k, it's in their home. The average person, retiree, about half of their wealth is in their house. Isn't that crazy? And that includes renters too, by the way. Housing differs from other aspects. Housing differs from other assets by providing consumption services as well as financial returns. This is what drives me so crazy about the CPI. Housing provides consumption services as well as financial returns. Many older individuals seem to prefer living in owner-occupied housing as opposed to living in rental properties, perhaps for sentimental reasons, or perhaps because they can more easily modify their own property to fit their needs. In most countries, the elderly run down their non-housing wealth quicker than they do their housing wealth. So housing wealth is the biggest proportion of wealth, and in most countries, people spend down their financial assets before they spend down their house. The house is your castle, man. There are other reasons why older individuals might liquidate their financial assets before their house. Most of the explanations can center on selling the house, cost of selling a house. Liquidating a house entails substantial transaction costs. It's weird. They didn't talk about the pain in the ass it is to move. I mean, I just look at all this. I mean, for us to move, it's going to be a freaking nightmare, dude. In fact, we're moving my mom into the Virginia Mennonite retirement community here in the next couple of weeks. I got to go up to Virginia, me and my brother, my sister, and we're going to, just clean her house out. That's going to suck. You know what I'm saying? She's been there for 20 years now. And it's just her, but still, even her, my mom, my single mom, she's accumulated a bunch of crap. I mean, we got 6 people living in here. I mean, look at all this crap we got everywhere, dude. Freaking, we have to go through here and just take a fumigator to get rid of it. It's going to be moving. It sucks, dude. First of all, it sucks to move. It's nerve wracking, but then just to clean up everything. Ugh. So a lot of people don't want to move because they're like, man, I'm comfortable where I'm at. Housing assets are often exempt from the asset test. Check this out. Housing assets are often exempt from the asset test associated with Medicaid and supplemental security income. As a result, households that sell their home and convert the proceeds to financial assets become ineligible for those government transfers until the financial assets are depleted. Finally, income from financial assets is usually taxable, but the implicit rent homeowners pay themselves is tax-free. This is what I'm talking about, the ghost income that you have. By not having to pay rent, you don't have to generate income in which to pay that rent. And that income you don't have to generate, it isn't subject to taxation. Implicit income is what that's called, implicit income. The fact that you own your home free and clear means you don't have to pay $3,000 a month in a mortgage, whatever. That $3,000 a month that you have to earn as income somehow, by dividends, by work, is not subject to taxation. That's implicit rent. So your house has a consumption, you live in it, plus a actual return. And not a great return. It keeps up with inflation for sure. Housing is huge. And so in terms of poor people, they don't want to sell their house because then it'll turn into financial asset. They're going to lose their government transfers. In terms of more wealthy people, a lot of them don't want to sell their house because of huge transaction costs and moving is a pain in the ass. I've done videos before. It's been a couple of years, but the vast majority of people, they don't move out of state. They don't. The vast majority of people who move intra-county, if you can believe that, intra-county. So the move from I'm in Milton, Georgia. The move from Milton, Georgia to Johns Creek. Why anyone would do that, I don't know. But still, they move intra-county. We know some people move from a couple of streets up there to a couple of streets over there. Why they did that, I don't know. I guess they had a pool. They want to go to a place with a pool. Isn't that crazy? $49K in cash is not a Medicaid disqualification for Medicaid. $49K in cash is not a Medicaid disqualification for Medicaid. For I don't know what that means. In Connecticut, I believe it's a home and up. Not sure what. Thanks, Kevin. Look at Kevin. Kevin's crushing. I'm a retired renter. Life is cool. Yeah, man. You're all right, Celtic spirit. Except that what'd you say earlier today? You said something about being kind of like you drive a Subaru. That's what it was. Welfare as it's done today is not really helping, but hurting people 100%, keeping them dependent. Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the whole point of welfare. I mean, it's one thing destroyed the black community. It's destroying the white community too. I can't believe Mormons are involved heavily in gambling. That pisses me off, dude. I hope the Mormon, the who runs the Mormon investment things. I hope they're not. That's the wrong. Gambling is so freaking evil. They're promoting gambling like crazy on TV, for football. It's so freaking evil. And we got this, that guy Packer from The Office. That guy. He's doing all kinds of ads here for going to some freaking gambling place. The party's here. Everybody come down to party, and they got, yeah, man, I won $50,000. See how easy it is to win. And then some guy was like, yeah, we come down here and we feel appreciated. I said, I'd appreciate you too if you spend all your money on me there, guy. Now, some grandmas, they get a kick out of playing the slots. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But it's still theft. You're still taking money because you know you're going to lose. If you didn't lose a freaking casino, like that's what this guy said in a stupid commercial. Yeah, they comped us a free stay, a free meal. We felt appreciated. I said, you're being played, you freaking idiot. You're being played. Of course he felt appreciated. Now you're going to be the first person who says, I need to raise my Social Security pay. The Mormons see casino jobs as a job to provide for the family. Yeah, okay. I get it. If you're working, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I worked in a bar. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying if you're making money off it, like the other guy said, some Mormons are making money off the casinos. I don't like it. It sounds like investors. I can't remember what he said. I don't like that. Yeah, right here. This guy, Celtic. Mormon banks funded Vegas and the mob took it over, now back to corporate. My man Tom crushing. Good Tom. Tom's doing all right. He's in Florida right now. Soon he'll feel depreciated 100%. He will be depreciated financially. You got that right, Daniel. Where's that? Where's your picture from there? All right. Let's see here. To the extent that home ownership explains a slow rundown of wealth, its effects will be strongest among high-income households who are more likely to own their home. The home ownership motive is therefore consistent with the observation that those with high incomes are less likely to accumulate their assets. Yeah, look, I don't care if you go gamble. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is these people got addictions, and they're playing out their addictions, and they're doing it with these ads saying anyone could win, and it just is just freaking. If I was king for a day, I would go back. I'd follow what the Muslims are doing. We'd bring a Sharia law. We'd say no gambling. We would not have usury. You know what I'm saying? To some extent, we'd say no freaking porn. We'd get rid of all the porn. We'd can't ban alcohol, but you say the bars. We'd have to think about that. I like what those guys are doing there. Like no alcohol. You know what I'm saying? I'd go nuts, dude. I'd say, yep, no porn. We're getting rid of all porn. We're gonna have no usury anymore. We're gonna have freaking no gambling houses. You know what I'm saying? That'd be every other commercial, 100%. Yep. We'd be going nuts, man. We'd say, nope, we're gonna legislate morality. I'll never forget my first campaign I ever volunteered for was a guy named Kyle McSlero in 1992 in Alexandria, Virginia. That's my dad lived when I got out of the Army as Congressional District 8, and he's running against Jim Moran, who was from Boston originally, but he is a scumbag. This guy, and Jim Moran was the incumbent, and we went to a debate between Kyle McSlero, and it's a very heavily populated government employee district, so there's no way Kyle McSlero was ever going to win. But he ran against him, and we went to a debate, and Jim Moran was like, well, whatever, man. And I'll never forget Kyle McSlero said, unlike my counterpart here, I do believe you can legislate morality. And I said, man, that was pretty strong. That was pretty strong. I was more of a libertarian back then. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to legislate morality. Now I'm not a libertarian anymore at all. Now I'm like completely legislate morality. I used to believe for a long, long time, and I still kind of do, legalize drugs because people are going to do drugs anyway. But and people are like, oh, if you legalize drugs, all these people are going to die, and we have all these people dying. I would literally say, you got to crack down on the users. It's the problem with the drug wars is we don't crack down on the users. You got to crack down on the Hunter Bidens of the world. And until you crack down on the Hunter Bidens of the world, the drug war is lost. And as such, you might as well just legalize it. You see what I'm saying? Because there's always going to be a freaking provider as long as there's demand. Always, always. You got to crack down on the users, not the deliverers. You got to crack down on the users. And the reason why the drug war is so violent is because the deliverers are competing for the most violent. They want to kill off their enemies. You know what I'm saying? Just like read their Bible. Dude. Read your Bible. The kingdom of Aaron. You know what I'm saying? Judah, Israel, all this stuff. They're all killing each other off. I was just reading today. Who was he? Killed 70. The sons of I forgot. 70 sons of Joash. It wasn't Joash. Somebody I can't remember his name. Ezekiel. I forgot. But he killed them all off. He doesn't want any survivors because he doesn't want to be challenged. I mean, literally, that's what you got to do. You got to say, man, if you're going to, you got to go after the users. And to go after the users, the drug wars will ever forever lose. Free society means letting people F themselves over. Yeah, but 100%, man. Free society means letting people F themselves over if that's all they're doing is F themselves over. Yeah, look, I don't believe there's no way we're going to win the drug war. There's not. So what I say is might as well just legalize the whole damn thing. 100%. I've thought that for years. Because there's no way they're going to go after the Hunter Bidens of the world. There's no, as I said in a video a couple of weeks ago, when I was working at a bar right off, so here's Georgetown, here's the Key Bridge, and here's the bar I was working at. And, as a bartender and a manager, and all these congressional staffers would come in, and this is after the Republicans took over and Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House. And a lot of Republican staffers would come in and do the stories you hear about them selling. It wasn't just selling marijuana, it was selling cocaine and stuff. And I heard bad things about Joe Biden's family back then. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, I can't believe that guy's like, I can't believe these guys are in jail. That's when I thought everything was on the up and up in our society. But even the Republican staffers were talking about drug deals. I was like, what? This is so freaking fake. I was like, man. And so it's not just Hunter Biden. It's on all sides. It's nuts. Because all these people took a ticket. They're controlled, man. They took a ticket to be. It's like what they try to do with Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake in Arizona. They try to freaking get her to be bribed so she wouldn't run. She got on tape. And the guy's like, she's like, why don't you take this public to the Arizona State GOP guy? He goes, I don't want to take it public. The minute I turn my key on, I blow up. You guys see the Razor Fist video he did on this. If you're not following Razor Fist, the Rageaholic, you got to follow him, man. He's funny as hell. He says, let's check this out. He goes, I trust Hunter Biden with a lit crack pipe in the directory of the Girl Scouts more than I trust the Arizona Republican Party. Dude, if that's not funny, that is, and I'm not even doing it justice. I trust Hunter Biden with a lit crack pipe in the directory of the Girl Scouts more than I trust the Arizona Republican Party. Oh, man. Our politicians aren't idiots. They're just they're literally controlled. I mean, that's the thing. Everyone thinks the media does the Democrats' bidding. I said, no, the Democrats do the media's bidding. The Republicans just follow suit because they're bought and sold too. Are there some that aren't? Yeah, absolutely. Not many. Razor rants are epic. Been watching him for years. He can spit that. It's crazy, man. I don't know how he's got the funniest lines too. I mean, it's the funniest jokes, this guy. And I'm like, how does he think about it? And I don't think he stops. I don't think he's, like Mark Dice, you can see he's editing it. And I don't call him that. I don't think Razor Fist does that, though. I think freaking Razor Fist just goes off. It's crazy. Legal pot gummy ads. Razor Fist, oh, man. I trust Hunter Biden with the directory of the Girl Scouts. All right. The life cycle. Let me bring this back, and we're gonna wrap up here because I'm getting tired. So, old man River. Here's Winter Soldier. He's Winter Soldier. He's collected nearly $100,000. I must retire in June. I'm 57 years old. Well, you're doing all right. Winter Soldier probably believes that young boys marched from Philadelphia to Valley Forge without any boots on in the middle of winter to take on those Brits. I'm just goofing off the Winter Soldier. I don't think that happened, just as an FYI. I'll never forget reading the Newt Gingrich book, Valley Forge, and he had written it with a guy who wrote Will Forkenstein or something like that, who had written Fortune Stand 1 second after. It's 1 second after. It's a fun book to read. If you like the apocalyptic dystopia stuff, 1 second after is fun. It was a fun read. I very much enjoyed it. Anyway, but he and Newt Gingrich teamed up to write Valley Forge, and as the first I had heard of young boys, young, 12, 13, walking across from Philadelphia to Valley Forge in the middle of the winter with no shoes on and no tools to build a shelter or anything like that. I said, no, I don't think that happened. And then I also read about my man Benedict Arnold, I'm a big fan of Benedict Arnold, who took his people from Cambridge, Massachusetts to attack Quebec in the middle of winter, had to go through Maine in the middle of winter time. No, that didn't happen, man. That didn't happen. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way. Oh, the men were tougher back then. Nope. These guys walked from Cambridge, Massachusetts through the mountains of western Maine in the middle of the wintertime to attack Quebec. Nope, don't believe it. I don't believe it. And you can, I don't care. No way. No way. All right, so then we'll get out of here. It's okay. You don't have to agree on everything. In fact, if we do agree on everything, that's weird. That's weird. All right, so we're gonna go to 102 here. Again, I put the link to this article and this paper in the show notes. So if you're so inclined, you can. Here's bequest. The children get 80% of the bequest. Other relatives get 15%, and your old buddy Josh gets 3%. All right, so right here, insurance lifestyle. 102. All right here. All right. The life cycle model with longevity and health risk, but without bequest motives, imply a high demand for insurance products such as annuities and long-term care insurance. These products, at fairly priced, can insure against lifespan or medical expense risk much more efficiently than standard assets. For example, using a simple version of the life cycle model with only lifespan uncertainty, this guy shows that people should immediately annuitize all their wealth. Nonetheless, U.S. households hold only a small amount of annuities and insurance. This suggests precautionary motives cannot be the only explanation for high savings at older ages. Annuity demand may be low because of medical expense risk. Annuities offer high returns to surviving individuals but are illiquid. This makes annuities more desirable to households who expect to live long and incur high medical expenses at older ages. So a lot of people right here, but less desirable to households who need liquid assets to cover medical expenses in the near future. Yep. So let me just write down here, middle right here. Middle and low income households may view themselves as reasonably assured against long-term expenses because of Medicaid. Because Medicaid is the payer of last resort and it covers only expenses not reimbursed by other insurers. Among Medicaid recipients, private long-term insurance mostly displaces Medicaid payments, i.e., if you think you're going to be on Medicaid, you're probably not going to buy long-term care. And thus, Medicaid should crowd out private insurance. These two guys calculate that Medicaid imposes an implicit tax on private insurance of about 65%. Because people who probably should get private long-term care insurance don't, because they say, Medicaid will be there for me. And so the people who do get private long-term care insurance, well, we're going to be self-selected as a group who probably is going to need it. And Medicaid, the companies who provide long-term care recognize that risk to them, and they're going to raise the cost. So there's an implicit 65% tax. Isn't that crazy? Medicaid, let's see, these guys likewise find that Medicaid crowd out explains low holdings of long-term care among poorer households, although adverse selection and administrative costs are more important in explaining how low take-up among the rich. Anyway, so if you're poor, you're probably not likely to get Medicaid, to get private insurance, because I'm just going Medicaid. Home equity may be a substitute for long-term care insurance. Indeed, it has been shown that health shocks and loss of a spouse are associated with a housing decumulation. The extent of which home equity performs this function for long-term care insurance is unresolved, though. But the broader recurrent theme worth emphasizing is that post-retirement assets can simultaneously serve many purposes and use in many constituencies. All right, so that's all I want to talk about. So just to wrap this up here, what is interesting is that basically people they have this huge fear, ultimately, of the unknown, of longevity and medical cost. And as such, they're less inclined to spend down their assets. They're less inclined to take a lot of money, a lump sum, and do a big annuity because they think, what if I need that? What if I need that? What if I need that? And this what if is hurting people's desire or ability, but frankly, the ability to spend more money than they should. And thus they're dying with more money than they should. They should die with less money to enjoy it more. That's just a fact, man. And so what I was trying to emphasize here is that 5% of the population spends 50% of the healthcare needs for retirees. 5%. That means the other 95% spends the other 50%. And a lot of those are already covered by other sources of insurance. Medicare supplemental policies, Medicare Advantage, Medicaid even. So, look, I don't know. I mean, I always hear an example. Oh, my grand, I get it. Anecdotal evidence runs riot. I get it. Runs rampant. The idea that you, Mr. Smith, out there watching this, are likely to spend all your assets on medical causes are just not likely to happen. But that's not going to convince enough people to start spending more money to enjoy the retirement or retire earlier. So you got to do what you got to do. You got to take an annuity. Just take an income annuity, and you'll give yourself an immediate income boost, and it'll relieve some of your stress. You'll still have other assets you can draw on if that medical shock hits you. But I'm telling you right now, an income annuity is absolutely a good way to go to increase your income without increasing your work. All right. My man Jeff says he sticks to booze, and he's always drunk. Mainly a few beers every now and again, like every now and again being every hour. Jeff says, I'll take a few beers every hour. You like to grow your own weed? Do it, man. I never smoke or eat pot controlled by the government, too many chemicals. That's what I'm saying. What I would do, I would say, if I was in charge, we would say, if we're making this stuff illegal, if you are the end user, you're going to go to jail. Watch how many people suddenly don't do drugs. It's crazy. If you get caught drunk driving, you're going to a jail for a long time. That's what I do too. You know what I'm saying? Legislate morality, 100%. You say, we're going to say, look, you drunk driver, we're not giving you a slap on the wrist. You're going to jail. Absolutely, unequivocally. Now, we got to be careful because the police state would say, oh, I planted drugs on, what's this guy, Big Johnson here. I don't like that. That's a problem, 100%. But until again, it's not going to happen. So we're never going to go after the end user. End user has too much power because the rich people are the users of this stuff, without question. Why do you think they went after crack so much over cocaine? Because cocaine was the rich people, crack was poor people. It's so freaking stupid. And, the poors were essentially blacks. The people supposedly saying, we want to have more, we go after the crack dealers. You're like, what about the coke dealers? No, don't go after them. They're white people, rich white people. We don't worry about that. We just worry about the crack dealers in inner cities. And now the whole thing's just so dumb. We're never going to go after the Hunter Bidens of the world. So at that stage, I'm like, just legalize the whole damn thing and let people do with it as they will. However, if you're caught driving on the influence, I'd freaking absolutely going to jail. I'd say 5 years minimum. Done. You're going to jail. That's all there is to it. You can smoke dope in your house. You can have freaking unprotected, let's put it this way, rainbow sex all day long. Do all that stuff in the freaking comforts of your home. Don't care. The minute you get on the road and you're freaking, drunk as a skunk and freaking, got two rocks that you got two crack pipes and rocks right there, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? You start promoting the 57 flavors to young children as a way to indoctrinate people. Going to jail. Can't have that. Can't have promotion of bad things. If you want to be that, that's fine. We shouldn't be promoting sexual activity to kids. I don't care if it's freaking straight or gay. I don't care. None of that stuff should be promoted to children. And it's just freaking sickening. It's sickening what this has gone to. We all know this. They should not be talking about freaking getting jiggy at 5th grade. It's insane. It shouldn't be, 100%. So I said, no, you're going to jail. 100%. You're in prison. See you. See you in 5 years. You're freaking, you're using, you're going to jail. You're freaking, you're drunk driving, you're going to jail. You're promoting bad things, you're going to jail. Promoting any kind of sexual thing to a kid, you're going to jail. That's what I do. Get rid of all the gambling, get rid of all the porn. Going to jail, It'd be fun. It's never going to happen. Because people you get the society they deserve, man. People like the unfettered access to drugs, alcohol, and pornography and gambling. They do. Making alcohol isn't easy. Is completely easy. You can make alcohol without question. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be knocking down your house or even your bar. I'd just say I wouldn't be doing that. I'd say if we catch you driving a vehicle drunk, going to jail. That's what I'd do. I got no qualm with that at all. But if you want to drink alcohol that you made on your own, if you want to trade alcohol with people, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me at all. None in the least. I mean, that's just like, they ban raw milk. Literally, it's illegal to sell raw milk in many states. Raw milk, it's illegal. So everyone says, oh, you're such a prude, Josh. Let me go get some raw milk. Oh, you can't do that. Why? Because it's illegal. Why? Well, we think it might be bad for you. Why? Because it's not pasteurized. Oh, gotcha. I'm the prude, but I can't go get raw milk. Why? Well, because Louis Pasteur. Oh, yeah, right. Gotcha. And I'm the bad guy because I don't want your stupid vaccines. Oh, well, you want to live in an iron lung? Oh, gotcha. Right there. Surprisingly, YouTube would allow any Big Johnsons exposed up in here. I'd rather not see it exposed, if you know what I'm saying. I don't fly that way, you know what I'm saying? This claimer name is one. They'll legalize it once all computers and robotics take over. They don't legalize everything now since they want productivity from their workers. Yeah. Charitable future income, a combo of speed and Social Security. Look at Michael Lewis. He's busy. He's too busy writing books to have a good comment. I mean, he's done writing his book, so he has a good comment. That's what I meant to say, Michael. Michael Lewis, Beanball, or what's it called? Whatever that movie's called, that book. To get a medical marijuana card in Connecticut, they will not renew your pistol permit when it comes to renew. No, oh my goodness, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't want to be in Singapore. I like the good old US of A. I like the US of A. Tom says no stress and no annuities. Yeah, I mean, teach his own, man. It's all right. No, I wouldn't. If I'm, king of Texas, the Republic of Texas, I'm not throwing anyone for growing their own. I don't care. I'm saying, buy a cow, Josh. I think Chinese iron lungs are pretty cheap. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, drugs. Well, I mean, the issue with the alcohol is we just have these idiots, the temperance movement. They're just idiots, man. They want to control what their husbands were doing, but in some ways you can't blame them because the husbands were cavorting. Yeah, it's just you can't. That's the problem with all this fancy. People are still going to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But making it legal doesn't mean it's going to be done in a more proper way. Just look at pornography. Now that, I mean, what, they couldn't even do freaking, I don't know what the hell it was in the 70s. Who knows what it was. And now it's just everywhere. Look at legalizing 57 flavors. Now it's everywhere. You can't watch a British TV show without having 57 flavors. I even told my daughter, I said, man, is everyone 57 flavors in England? Because every show I watch, I like English stuff. There's always got to be some 57 flavor lovers. I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, government controlling food chain, 100%. Raw milk, freaking, oh man, I love raw milk. I'm not buying a cow. No way. How dare you, Harry? What, Harry? Oh my goodness, freaking Harry! You'd think you'd be smart. So what happens when you live in Oklahoma, man? Just that bright. Just you kind of lose it. What's 57 flavors? Oh boy. Let's put it this way. We have lots of pride, if you know what I'm saying. Lots of pride. How to eat the you have grown old, Harry. Look at your grandson there. It's making you, oh, look at those kids to make you run rampant. You're growing old. All right, my friends, I'm going to get out of here. I'm tired. I'm going to watch the rest of my show. What the hell's it called? I can't remember what it's called. I don't drink any milk either, Jill, but I did when I was trying to get, bigger. When in my midst of heavy lifting, I was drinking a lot of milk, and then someone said, "You got to try raw milk." I said, "Oh, raw milk. It's just you got all the probiotics, you got all the good bacteria. It's fantastic." The idea that we all fall for this pasteurization is freaking insane. The idea that we fell for Ansel Keys and his anti-freaking fats is insane. I haven't watched Fargo yet, but that looks pretty good. I'm looking. That's on my next on my list. So I'm watching the Nest. It's a movie, The Nest. Watch Happened Last Night, Happen Again. You got it, Kevin. You're all right, Kevin. Thanks for taking my jokes with calm. But I'm going to watch Nefarious will be next. So I'm watching The Nest, Nefarious, and I think I'll watch Fargo as well. And I'm reading it. I do like to. Oh, raw milk is way healthy, 100%. I do like to American. Dude, of course I've watched American Moon. Come on, John. Have you watched American Moon? Haven't you seen all my comments on there? Dude, I got all kinds of comments. Josh Scanlon, Heritage Wealth Planning. I have like 40 comments on there because I was taking notes about my anti-moon landing thing to share with my man Tom up here, Tom Albrecht. And I said, not just him, but I had all these comments on there. But and all these people they say all the same thing. They all say the same. It's funny as what I mean. They all say the same thing. Oh, I convinced you. Man, I'm. Oh, Leah, oh my goodness. Oh, I thought you meant you're calling Big Johnson Leah Thomas, Bree. Look at freaking Pulverizer. Nefarious is chilling possible. It's true. There's demons. Don't forget, Christians, we believe in demons. I don't understand why Christians think there's no such thing as demons. Our own book says they're demons. They're demons. Why do we say there's not any? Jesus. All right, I'm going to get out of here. All right, God bless. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.